Hello, 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 and welcome back to another live show of the Executive Innovation Show. It is Wednesday. This is where we are. Goodness, slow down. Where we are every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central. So come on in, y'all. Come on in, say hello. Let me know where you're joining from. If you're new here, drop a one in the chat. Drop a one in the chat if you're new here. I am Shevvy, your host, and if you're new here, welcome. And what I do, I focus on helping businesses in the technology engineering space to really tap into SBIR and SCTR opportunities, and that is helping them to submit merit-worthy proposals so that those proposals can get through the door, get reviewed, and the goal is to get those federal grants to drive their innovation and bring the innovation to life. So as y'all come in, like I said, say hello, let me know where you're joining from, and also share what you do, because this community, it's about being innovative and finding opportunities, not only, by listening here, but also potential partnership, because part of the innovation process in applying for phase one or phase two, when it comes to innovation grants, is partnership, is team members, having the right, resources in the sense of people, and also, funds as well too. So use this opportunity to really listen, take in, but also create more opportunities for yourself as well too. So come on in. And today I have a special topic. And if you're joining me on Facebook, thank you. Say hello. Joining me on LinkedIn, which is my main platform that I am on. Welcome as always. And also, I'm on YouTube, so I did a shift very quickly. I just want to share something very quickly. So instead of going to my old YouTube channel, which was Lead Like the CEO, we are going to be focused on the new YouTube channel, which is the Executive Innovation Show on YouTube. So when you're done here, go over there, subscribe. Thank you in advance. Okay. So let's get started on today's topic. And today's topic is really about navigating DoD SBIR process. And before I get into the two things that I want to discuss today, I want you to think about, and you may be in this space where you're looking at DoD as this complicated space, and you're like, you know what? I don't even want to tap into that because it's a lot of stuff going on. You may feel like it's chaotic. You may feel like it's overwhelming. And I have my notes here, so you're going to see me looking down. I want to make sure I'm able to capture and share everything with you. And, you're probably thinking like it's overly complicated. And I will say, and it can be for some. Yes, I will agree that this process can be complicated for some and overly complicated. And being, retired Air Force after 22 years, I've been in that space. I understand how things can take a long time, but also understand how quick things can happen, especially when it's mission critical. And today we're going to talk about how you can navigate the DoD process when it comes to SBIR and the different opportunities, because there's a lot of opportunities that you can tap into if you do it the right way and understand the needs of DoD as a whole, because the DoD is not just, it's a big umbrella of multiple different entities that falls underneath that one umbrella. And we'll get into that a little bit more. So as you all come in, drop any questions that you have. But in order to set yourself up for success in navigating the DoD SBIR process, the first thing you have to tell yourself is don't think like, oh my goodness, this is overwhelming, this is complicated. But we have to go in and think strategically, because being in the military, we have to think strategically at every single level, okay, even at the lowest level, because sometimes you may be brand new, but you're already leading. And as an innovator, you're already creating things all the time. So when it comes to SBIR and SCTR, and when it comes to this show, it's really focused on helping you to get that. It's about where your innovation meets funding, because in order to get your innovation to the commercial market, you need to get funding. And then when you get that funding, it leads to execution. So that execution needs to meet leadership. So this show is about where innovation meets funding and execution meets leadership, because you need all four: the innovation, you need the funding, you need the execution, because when you execute, you show that, hey, I can deliver. And then the leadership aspect, I can deliver, but also I can lead my team to make sure that this project gets done and executed on time. Okay. So how to find and understand DoD topics. First thing is you have to understand the mission of DoD. And if you have never been part of the Department of Defense, when I say DoD, I'm referring to the Department of Defense. You really, like with anything that you're approaching, you have to understand the mission of that company, of that organization. So I will challenge you, if you haven't, maybe you've heard of it, but you haven't done any research or anything, to say, you know what, let me go ahead and tap into learning more about the DoD. Because when you're able to learn about something, you get to understand it better. You get to understand their mission. You get to understand their value. You get to understand the critical things that they need to execute the mission. Hey, Michael, thank you for joining. By Carmelone, deliver the mailman, deliver like the mailman. Yes, thank you for sharing that. Deliver like the mailman. So definitely, you have to understand the mission. And with DoD, it's all about making sure that our warfighters, which are, our Air Force members, our Space Force, our Navy, the Marines, Coast Guard, all the branches, and also not just the branches, but also the different entities that support the different branches, have the resources that they need, and making sure that they're able to protect the United States as a whole against foreign, enemies and other things going on. So it's really understanding the mission. So as you think about navigating and applying for DoD SBIR, you have to look at what is the mission of the DoD and how does your innovation fit into that. So understanding the mission and the needs of that organization is key. Also understanding, okay, when are they putting out solicitation? So solicitation is the DoD saying, hey, every Wednesday of the first Wednesday of the month, here's what we have available. Here are the things, the different topics that we are looking for a solution for. So remember, your innovation has to be a solution to get that contract, to get that opportunity, because DoD as a whole, instead of grants, you get a contract opportunity to showcase your ability to bring the solution that they are looking for. Because again, these topics are based on challenges that the DoD is dealing with right now. And in order to be the go-to and the best warfighter globally, you have to be creative. You have to be innovative. And that's where you come in as an engineer, as a software developer, as a builder, as someone who has a solution. That's where you come in. But really understanding that topic and what they're looking for is going to be essential. All right. So Michael said, also understand agency's mission and vision statements. Also understand agency mission and vision statements. You then can understand the priorities of the decision makers. Love that. Exactly. Because when you understand the mission and the vision, you understand their priorities. And when you're able to showcase that in your innovation, then it's alignment. And by doing that, they believe and they can see that you truly understand their challenges and you have a solution, because again, problem, solution, and you are the person who's going to bring that solution to them. So know the mission, know their needs, because decision makers, they want to know like, hey, you understand us, you see us, you have a solution to our problems. And then know what topics that they are providing currently right now. Guess how many topics are available for this quarter. Well, not this quarter, for this month, because every month new topics comes out. Drop in the chat, how many topics do you think is currently available right now for DoD? And the topic just came out on the 2nd of April. So I'm gonna give you a quick second, just drop a number, what you believe is the total topics available for DoD. So it's a lot of opportunities. Right now, it's a total of 106 topics available that you can tap into. Okay, so really knowing when these topics are released is going to be essential for you as an innovator to know, like, okay, I know the first Wednesday of every month, I need to go to the DSIP, the actual website, which is DSIP, SBIR.gov to really look at, okay, what's out there, what's available. So knowing what's available, knowing that, okay, out of the 106 topics, where does my innovation meets the topics for the different agencies? Because even though we have 106 topics, we have different agencies that need specific things. They need specific solutions. So what you want to make sure that you're doing is read the topics. And don't just read the title, read the objectives, read the additional information that they provide, because some topics are very thorough and some are just like, here you go. But what I've noticed with the Air Force topics, they're very thorough. I understand Air Force. I know with Air Force is very thorough, and other branches I've seen is very, here and there, and some are more thorough too. So definitely read to understand and make sure that what you have as an innovative idea that actually matches what the agency is looking for. And that's how you are able to navigate the DoD SBIR process, is really understanding their mission, really looking at what are the solicitation timeline, because you have about 60 days from the time the window is open. So the pre-release. So you have a pre-release, which is like, here are the topics. Here are the topics that we have available for you to review, do your research, and then decide from there, how do I go about deciding which one is best fitting for your business. So that's the pre-release. And then you have the open. So the open date is now, you have from this date to the close date. So for this month, the open date is the 23rd of April. That means you have from April 23rd to submit your application into the in the actual system, which is DSIP, which we'll talk about very shortly. And then you have until May 21st to make sure that your application is in the system. Okay, so don't do all the work and forget to make sure that you have the timeline to submit everything. Okay, let me grab some water. All right, so we have topics from the Air Force, and what I've noticed in the topics, there's a lot of AI and machine learning opportunities. Like, for example, one by the Air Force, they're looking for someone who can create a platform to where they can track where, when it comes to military members leaving, let's track and see how we can retain members before they leave and have to talk to the commander. So again, there's a lot of opportunities if you have an innovative idea that's, AI, machine learning, that you can help solve this problem for the Air Force. Then I would highly recommend go to the website, look it up, do your research, and apply. And if you're like, hey, you want to get some support with that process, then reach out to me. I would love to just kind of have a conversation with you. You have Defense Health Agency. They're looking for commercial medical technology. You have Defense Threat Reduction Agency. Again, looking at how do we reduce the threat from our, our enemies, in the sense of the DoD as a whole, to make sure that we are protecting the United States, we're protecting the people, and so forth. So there's a lot of opportunities out there. Like I said, we have 106 opportunities available for this month. Okay. But these are the things that you want to make sure that you are doing now in order to navigate and understand the process, because it can be complicated if you let it be complicated. But if you really understand what you're doing, or whether that's doing your own research or hiring someone like my company or another consultant to help you, it's going to save you time. It's going to save you headache. It's going to save you the overwhelm. It's going to help you to have a structured process, and also the ability to submit a merit-worthy application, which is essential because you want to make sure that you do it the right way the first time and not get your application rejected. So that is the first part. And if you have any questions as you are listening and you're thinking, can I do this? Reach out to me and let's have a conversation. So the next thing that you want to do when it comes to navigating DoD SBIR process, we talked about understanding the mission and understanding the solicitation and the topics, and being thorough and reading what we need to read. But the second main thing that you want to do is utilizing the system. The system is where you get to log in, register, log in, and input all the information, your response to the topic. Okay, so the Defense Cyber and SCTR Innovation Portal, which is DSIP for short, this is the system that you will need to input all of the information to submit your proposal. Okay, so, and you want to understand this because you want to make sure that you do it right. And the first thing that you want to do, you want to know where to go and how to register. And one thing I will say about this system, DSIP, it is not complicated to navigate. I've gone through it, myself, my client, I've gone through it, supporting other clients, walking through. And honestly, the biggest thing is making sure that you have your business information squared away. That means having everything that you need in one central location, because structure is going to be key in applying for these proposals, for these different phases. So what to expect when registering in DSIP, in the DSIP portal. It's a straightforward process. And I do understand that sometimes the DoD can be complicated, different government agency can be complicated, but I will say that this system is a straightforward process. And the great thing about the system, as you are inputting your business information, it gives you a measurement, like if you're at 10%, 20%, 50%, and then it will tell you, are you at 100%? And when you're at 100%, then you can move on to the next. So it's to me, very well structured in that sense. And when you're able to go in there, is like I said, just having your information, registering, and then putting the information in there as needed. And you have to answer with integrity, okay? Because they're trusting you to be honest. They're trusting you to deliver what you say you can do. You can't just be like, hey, I can do this, and then you don't. Also making sure that you have your team makeup, because again, part of what's in that system is, your team setup. What are what team members do you have supporting you with this innovation? Your budget, all of that stuff goes into this specific system. So it's a one-stop location. You do have to have a SAM.gov, which I've mentioned, a SAM registration, not .gov, a SAM registration, because again, you have to be registered and have a UEI and a cage code in order to be awarded the contract when it comes to paying and giving you the actual funds. So can it be complicated? Yes, if you let it. But when you have someone that is supporting you, that is guiding you, it reduces your stress, gives you back your time, and it makes the process a lot better, less overwhelming, and structured. So if you are in that space where you're hesitant about whether or not you want to tap into the DoD SBIR process because you feel like it's complicated, I said, you know what, forgo that mindset, forgo that thought process, and trust yourself to just say, you know what, let me give myself this opportunity. Let me try and see what will happen, because what can you lose? It's about taking that risk. It's about trusting yourself. It's about going through the process and seeing what happens. And it may turn out in your favor, where it's like, okay, I did it. I won an opportunity, or I did it. And you know what? I didn't win, but I learned a lot. Now I know what I can do better as I apply for the next opportunity. So it's not just one and done. Like, you have to be that person who's persistent. You have to be that person who's willing to go more than once, because on average, you're looking at maybe the third time, because it's a learning process. It's a journey. Or it may be that first time you win your first phase 1. And also there's opportunity for you to go directly to phase 2, which we can talk about in another in another topic on another Wednesday. But definitely, if you are in that space and you're looking for someone to help you and guide you, then I invite you to send me a DM. Let's get the conversation started. I'm not holding you to anything. I'm just saying, hey, send me a DM with any questions that you may have, and we can go from there. But if you found this information to be helpful and you are looking to navigate the SBIR process as a whole, or you want to tap into DoD and learn more about how you can really understand their process, reach out to me, friend. Okay. All right. Well, if there are no questions, thank you all so much for joining. #replay. Also share this with a innovator that is in your community. and invite someone for next Wednesday as well too. So I want to say thank you for joining me. And today was really focused on sharing with you how to navigate DoD SBIR process without feeling overwhelmed. Okay. And that is just really understanding their mission, understanding their needs, understanding, the solicitation process, and reading those topics. We have 106, and you have until May the 21st to submit your proposal, but we don't want to wait that long. Okay. We want to get it in as soon as possible because that is the goal. All right. And don't forget, join my YouTube channel at the Executive Innovation Show. Subscribe, leave a comment, share it with a friend. And I will see you all next Wednesday. All right. Well, have an amazing day. And thank you, Michael, for joining me definitely and sharing the chat what you do, because you never know who might be listening and watching and what opportunities can come from that. As always, remember, we handle the complexity while you focus on your innovation. Have an amazing day, y'all.